section here, it says we're only going to be importing the finest examples of TVRs. Mm-hmm. And then you might have a question, and it might go along the lines of, did they make any fine examples?
Welcome back to the Gassing Station, powered by Michelin, the podcast that goes to the very depth of the PistonHeads forums, just like James Cameron sifting through the Titanic ruins. I'm Cam Tate, and joining me, as ever, is John Howell. John, you've raised your hand.
That makes it sound like James Cameron discovered the Titanic.
He didn't, but he practically lives there, doesn't he?
Does he?
Yeah, he's always down in the Titanic.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
he's
that.
He's got like a little submarine that he goes. That's his like weekend away.
It was very exciting when they found the Titanic. I remember. I was extremely excited.
When did they find it?
I don't know. Was it like 1980 something?
That's why I don't remember it.
Oh, because you weren't born.
No.
I was.
Oh, that's cool.
I was obsessed by the Titanic.
Yeah. Well, so was James Cameron, and that's how the film came about, I believe. I might be talking completely out my backside. Two things I want to bring up. First of all, listeners won't be able to see this, but if you're watching this on YouTube, you will. Have you noticed my extremely shiny jumper? I'm wearing, for those who are listening...
for effect, by the way. Jesus.
John has literally not looked at me for the past hour while I've been wearing this.
You weren't wearing it because you said I'm going to change from the other one and try out this prototype. So when I look round and I see... Oh my God.
I'm wearing a prototype jumper, which is a massive PH smiley. So it's a navy jumper with a massive chrome PH smiley because I just wanted to wear something jazzy. But this is a prototype.
That's quite jazzy.
It is quite jazzy.
Too jazzy?
I don't think so. No.
Do you know what that's from?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
yeah.
good.
But yes, this is it's extremely shiny. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you probably see the reflection of either John or the camera because it's like the chrome McLaren.
Can I?
Yeah. Go on.
I've never said this before.
Oh, right.
Can I touch you? Because it just makes me want to just...
Given the second bit of news, yes, you can. So go on.
I'm just going to stroke.
Yeah. It's shiny, isn't it? Yeah.
It's very smooth and slippery.
Okay. The second bit of news that I've got is not the best bit of news.
Depends, doesn't it, really?
Well, yeah, it depends how you think of this dynamic. But this is the last time John and I will be together on this podcast because you're losing one of us. And it's not me, it's John.
What time? How? What?
Yes.
Why do you think? What?
Did no one tell you?
No.
Oh. Well, apparently there's
Is this a joke?
Apparently there's a magazine that wants you more than we do.
Oh, that. Oh,
actually,
right,
no.
yeah.
Hang on a minute. That's not how it works. It's you want a magazine more than you want to be here.
What can I say? I've always wanted to write for Fiesta, and you don't know what those do.
No. Is it Ford Fiesta Owners Club magazine?
No.
I don't think they have that.
Or Escort.
Yes. So as this is John's last podcast, he's getting a few free passes here and there. But we're going to be really sad to see you go because we're 16 episodes in now.
Is it 16?
16.
And I lasted that long?
You did.
That's amazing.
Well, it almost fell apart pretty much immediately, didn't it, John?
It did. Because you said to me, I am leaving, by the way, and it's not. Yes, it's to a certain degree through choice, I suppose. But I love doing this podcast with you. It's been
a lot of fun.
I'll be honest. When you first said to me, John, would you like to do a podcast for PistonHeads with me? Mm-hmm. My initial reaction was, that would be rubbish. It would be you being a geek and whatever, and me, I don't know, just farting, and it would be terrible. But do you know what? From the first episode, I thought I loved doing this. It was like a revelation. It was just off mic. You said to me, "What's the best episode? Your favourite episode so far?"
Yeah.
And I immediately said to you, "Well, obviously it was the first episode," and it was the first because I came into this podcast thinking I would be allowed to be, sort of a bit unhinged.
Yeah.
Just a bit risque, because I like being a bit edgy.
You do, yes.
And saying things that a little bit. And So we had I remember laughing quite a lot in the first episode, thinking this is absolutely brilliant. And then you told me that has been denied air.
It didn't go down brilliant. The first episode was very much of this format, but I think it's because, look, put it like this.
My tongue was a lot looser.
Your tongue was looser, and there were, if you think about Top Gear, for instance, when that was on the BBC, they couldn't say whatever they wanted. They had, certain rules that they had to abide by, and there was just basically that first episode was a bit rough around the edges. So was the second one, and so those first two, just like a prototype, just like this jumper that I'm wearing, actually nicely tied together. We put those on the shelves. Are they going to get released one day? Absolutely not. But
the thing is, I always remember when you said, John, they've been canned too much, and you explained a few of the things that I said that I wasn't allowed to say, and I was like, there was a mixture of disappointment and also I've been canned. It took me validation that I am actually as rude and obnoxious as I always thought I was. Cancelled on the very first episode. I thought that's quite an achievement.
And just a little bit of behind the scenes. I feel like we don't almost deserve doing behind the scenes of a podcast that's only been going for 16 episodes. But these are, John is wonderfully unfiltered, but these podcasts usually do go on for about 2 hours, and there's a fair bit of chopping that needs to go in, because sometimes you'll go on a tangent and say certain things where I'm like, well, first of all, we're off topic, and second of all, this is absolutely cannot go out.
I would say out of most of the time, let's say there's 1 hour of actual podcast,
yes,
and the other 4 hours of recording is you going, you can't say that.
That's true.
And me going, am I allowed to say that one? No, John.
Do you know what? I feel like at the current rate that we're going, imagine if this one gets canned as well, and no one will ever hear about you leaving. It would just look like you were sacked, and then it would be like, well, we did have to can it. So hopefully this one can go out. We've not said anything controversial yet, but those first two were a lot of fun. We knew from the start that it was kind of like, this is a lot of fun, and we've got a format that we might be able to work with. And also, we just needed to refine it a little.
I genuinely like working with you, and
I've loved working with you too.
And I do genuinely believe that your happy positivity works and contrasts beautifully with my slightly cynical negativity. I mean, when I say cynical, I mean I'm not really as negative as I sometimes claim to be, but it's quite. I like
more positive.
No, because I am actually quite positive. I just like playing this grumpy old man with a smile.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought it worked really well too. And it's such a shame that we're going to have to.
Why have you sacked me then?
Well, because of the first two episodes. That's why. So that's the big news. Kind of starting off with the biggest news, and then everything's just going to seem quite insignificant.
And just in case there is any doubt, I know we have. I haven't been sacked.
No, he hasn't. No, he is leaving on his own accord. We would love him to stay if he could, but he is not being pushed much. And on that bombshell, it's we're not ending here. We're just going to go on to the first topic. So, John, this is really quite strange. This is the kind of, when a news story comes up and you almost have to rub your eyes and blink twice, because it's like, what on earth? On the PH homepage right now is a story that goes by TVR Garage opens its first US showroom.
Really?
Yeah.
Normally when people open showrooms, particularly in this case a car showroom,
yes,
isn't there something quite important to have as a part of that process, or
products.
At least that's the one.
Yeah, that's
cars.
Yes, cars. Yeah.
Now, TVR.
Yes,
the company that was reborn after Nikolai Samensky, was it?
We can go with that.
Yeah, something like that. The Russian fella.
The Russian billionaire. The young Russian billionaire. Everyone likes to point out that he was in his 20s.
Well, young Russian billionaire. He's not young anymore, is he?
No, but he was then.
Well, he was, yeah. The one, the post him, that's been talked about for almost as long as Nikolai Mensky,
yes,
hasn't been in charge. They haven't produced a car. They've taken a lot of money from a lot of people, I think, to produce a car, and so far that investment hasn't been repaid.
So they've basically, if we're going to talk about the reborn TVR, the Griffith, which
is like the second coming because it hasn't actually come yet.
No, it hasn't yet. Well, I mean, it's
so reborn isn't really strictly true, is it? To be reborn, you have to be first of all born, then not be alive anymore, and then be reborn. So
it's in the oven on a slow cook, but this isn't going to be selling new TVRs because there aren't any new TVRs to sell. This is a garage that has opened up in Las Vegas by a company called TVR Garage. They're a company that have been importing TVRs into the US, and essentially it's doing something that never happened in the first place, which is importing these cars from the UK and putting them in this very lovely showroom and selling them to an audience that I think would have loved them. They would have absolutely lapped them up had they been made available there originally.
Straight Six is involved.
So yes, it's done in collaboration with Straight Six, which is the Oxfordshire-based specialist for TVR stuff. So Gavin Bristow, co-founder of TVR Garage, said, "Our mission is to ignite a lasting passion for TVR in the US by importing only the finest examples, building a strong enthusiast community, and laying the foundation of the future expansion into restoration and customization." Hang on, is he trying to start up a US equivalent of PistonHeads? Because we were the TVR community.
It's true. And also, I'm a bit concerned now. For their business plan.
Why is that?
Well, because if I went to the bank and I said, right, I need a loan,
yes.
I don't know, let's say 150 grand. Get a dealership up and going in foreign country, I need 150 grand. Yes, sir. Right, okay, let's have a look at your business plan. Right, yeah, okay, so profits in, yep, I see that. Yep, very good, very good. Bank manager goes through, he's like tapping on his calculator. Yes. Now, just excuse me, Mr. Bristow. Is your father a dance player, you'd say? This section here, it says we're only going to be importing the finest examples of TVRs.
Mm-hmm.
And then you might have a question, and it might go along the lines of, did they make any fine examples? I mean, not that they weren't brilliant cars, but when we're talking about finest could mean, if we're talking about reliability and kind of longevity and things like that.
I think that's where the partnership with Straight Six comes in, because they are going to be the ones that have obviously looked after many TVRs before. So I think it's probably safe to say that used TVRs today are probably in far better nick than brand new TVRs 20 years ago.
But there's no humour in that, and so I'm going to carry on with my...
Go on.
I've thought of another problem.
What's that?
Well, you know that there are various species under threat with climate change and all the human expansion, cutting down rainforests, that kind of stuff. Now, this is going to cause a massive issue, and I do believe it could possibly have repercussions that could make whales extinct. These chaps, well-meaning, and I'm not saying that they're doing anything malicious, they're going to put only the finest examples of TVRs onto a boat.
Yes.
And I'm assuming that to make it worthwhile, they'll pack as many onto the boat at any one time as they can and sail them all over to the New World. And in that process, we all know what happens with TVRs. When a TVR is sat completely motionless, there's no wind, there's no interruption, no nothing, the alarm will go off.
Oh, that boat is going to be so loud.
A boat that's rocking from side to side, even in a gentle sea, it's going to be some movement. And all of those TVRs, there'll just be alarms, like, 100 alarms going off at once. Whales communicate on language that sounds very underwater, will sound very similar to those car alarms. And you don't know what a TVR's car alarm is saying, probably, but coming from Blackpool, something really rude.
God, I think we're really clutching at straws here. But yes, so that's definitely going to be a problem.
You're not taking this seriously.
I've just completely lost my point now. But yes, there's going to be a degree of restoration work that's going to go on at the other end. But John, TVR were never officially sold in the US. There is a law in the US that means that anything over the age of... You can only import a car providing that it's over the age of 25 years old. Mm-hmm. If it's anything younger than 25 years, there's a flat-out ban. They do have some workarounds called show and display, which I always get confused with show and tell. Look at this car that I've imported from the United Kingdom. It's got flip-flop paint. But that's only saved for like really, really, really exclusive stuff, and you can only drive a very short period of time, very, very short distances on it. There's plenty of TVRs that are available from the 90s and soon the early 2000s, and they're all going to become, the finest examples are going to be shipped off to the States. This seems like the car the States should have had from the start, John, because the US has never really understood British cars.
I don't think that's fair. Really?
Really? Why not?
Oh, come on. Like, Americans used to love Jaguars. When the whole of the UK knew that a Jaguar would, like an XJ40 or a Series 3, would last about we knew how they were built, who they were built by, where they were built, and generally speaking, not the most perfectionist kind of people. And then they got sent off to America, and the Americans loved them.
It's probably because they didn't fall apart in climates that had some warmth, not as much rain.
I don't know. Do you remember
salt on the roads?
Do you remember when I think some point during one of these episodes, or I've said to you in the past, I remember going to Castle Bromwich to the heritage side when it was there. I don't know if it's still there or moved to Gaydon now. And there was this last Series 3, V12, 1992, I think it was, or 3, a very late car. And it had done something like 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
And probably most of those miles would have been on a sunny day, the best conditions, because it would have been brought out for high days and holidays.
Yes.
Right? That car, and bearing in mind, it was the last ever Series 3 made. So if you kind of done the other, whatever they were, sort of million, let's say, and you're like throwing the bits in there and a couple of bits in the boot and slamming the boot shut, going, oh, who needs pedals anyway?
Yeah.
And sending it on down the line. And then the painter's just sort of kind of smoking his fag, looking at time, oh, it's nearly time to clock off, and just doesn't bother.
Not even spraying it, literally just brushing it on.
Well, and then just goes, oh, right, it's knocking off time. Union, right, okay, 4:15, I'm off. But Bob, you haven't paid the back panels. Who gives a monkeys, mate? Oh, he wouldn't. Oh, what do I bloody care? And he'd say like that, and then he'd walk out, and that's why they all rusted to pieces. But the last one, the very last one off the line, and let's face it, that was a celebrated car.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, wasn't it the last car styled by Bill Lines?
It might have been, yeah.
I mean, I know Pininfarina did an update, but that was the very last. I'm pretty sure that was the last car he ever.
It might be. My Jaguar knowledge is pretty rubbish.
Well, my knowledge is rubbish anyway, which is why you're forcing me out. But I'm pretty sure that was the last car ever styled by Bill Lines. I know the Series 1 slightly different, but that as a piece of Jaguar heritage is major.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you that car, 1,000 miles, I assume was built to the highest standards that factory could achieve.
Yes.
And it's probably spent most of its life indoors.
Yes. Yeah.
Rusting.
Yes, it wouldn't. Yeah. I think this is...
Rust around, and where they all go, around the windscreen, around the back screen. And I'm like, how is that possible?
How have they done this?
And then I thought, I thought, but surely you wouldn't leave it like that. It's your heritage car. And then I thought, oh, of course, it's Jaguar heritage. That's part of their heritage, isn't it? A rusty Series 3.
Yes.
Yeah. Like if you show a pristine Series 3, then people go, I don't understand. What is that car? What is that? Bit of rust bubble around it. Oh, it's a Jaguar.
I think that's the kind of the point I was getting to, is that, yes, Americans may have liked Jaguars, but it was a small group of Americans who wanted for the charm, but then and a lot of them realized that I bought this Jaguar the other day. It was on my Jaguar. Sorry, I bought this Jaguar the other day. It's now I parked it on my drive, and I woke up this morning, and it's literally disintegrated overnight.
And I live in California.
Yeah, precisely. It doesn't get much drier. So so they've never been especially big, because for manufacturers like that, there's loads of homegrown stuff from GM and everybody else that you could probably get for much cheaper, or you go for something premium like a BMW or an Audi or whatever. But then on the sports car side, let's take Lotus for instance. This is the problem of Lotus makes so much sense here and so much sense in many places, but America, anyone who says, an Elise is overrated, I genuinely want to ignore them. But when an American says it and they've only driven it in America, I get it. Because the roads are so long, the speed limits are atrocious, and they're stupidly wide and super flat. So you're just kind of like driving a car that you can't really appreciate to its full limits.
It's true.
Yeah, exactly. But
they do. But a TVR kind of fits the bill, doesn't it?
A TVR fits the bill superbly. This is why I think it's such a magnificent move, because they're all quite. This is really the perfect mix, because they've got that kind of, they're lightweight, made of fiberglass, obviously, but big engines. Even the straight sixes were huge displacements. V8s as well, but then you've got the looks are just so. I mean, America loves a car that can turn heads, and
a fiberglass car too.
They do like
fiberglass sports
too.
car.
Yeah, but I was going to say that one of the comments from Fan the Man 80 says, "Won't the fiberglass glue melt in the hot California and Nevada sun?" And then G.A. John says, "Do the Corvettes?" And I'm like, yeah, because loads of Corvettes were made of fiberglass as well, weren't they? I mean, the paint might fade. I don't know how the paint is going to fare on a flip-flop, whatever they just call it, iridescent TVR. But I'm sure they'll hold together. But this just seems like the perfect car, doesn't it?
Don't be too sure.
Sorry, yes. I'm quietly confident.
Again.
Yeah. Quietly confident that they should be fine. But no, that's because they've got straight six looking after them, and also the TVR garage who clearly know what they're doing.
I am joking. You can't talk about TVR without ribbing them for the known reliability issues, but we are talking about cars. On a serious note, and I really hope these guys make a success of it. Well, actually, no, I'm going to come to where I don't hope it's a success in a minute.
I actually think I know where you're going with this, but go on.
Section A.
Yes.
Why I hope it's a success. Because it's people doing something that's, one, celebrating some great stuff from the UK, and why not broadcast it around the world and say, look, this is what you've been missing, and this is what us crazy Brits do. And let's face it, we do craziness like that brilliantly. Sometimes it's not put together. We don't execute it the best, but it's wonderful. TVRs of that generation are amazing. They really are. And as you know, and as people may know, I still want a Cerberus. I still want, and in fact, there was that one on the PH auction that went for £15,000, and I was like, if I'd known it was going to go for that, I would have bought that.
Yeah, instead of looking at Volvo V60s.
It's true, I think I really want a Cerberus. I really, really love them, and I'm fairly sure that those cars going over there will be adored by their owners. And I did see that, I mentioned this the other day, didn't I? I watched the Jay Leno.
The Jay Leno video was great.
That was a Tuscan, wasn't it? The guy had a Tuscan. And I just, you just think, it looks right in California.
Really does.
I know you say the roads are straight and everything. They're not all straight. There's some great roads in America. But when you just saw that car, it fitted America. It's because it's a bruisery thing, big engine. That was a 6, I think, wasn't it? I think.
Yes, it was.
It doesn't matter either way. America's got a long history of the 6-cylinder before the V8 became a.
There's nothing else like a TVR.
Absolutely
straight
not.
6.
Absolutely not. It's just people doing something, being invented, and hopefully in the process of making what I hope will be a good profit for them. I would hope making many people happy with owning a car like that.
I think the last thing I would want to see is people forgetting about TVR, because I adore them, and it is a case of one day I will have to own a TVR, because there's just this you have this connection to them that you don't really have with anything else, and it's like this mythical car. So it's great to see them over in the US. However,
it's almost mythical in the sense that sometimes they're really not a car.
No.
When they don't go anywhere and don't start, they are mythically a car.
Yes.
Because they're not actually a car.
Wonderful technicality, that. There is a downside to this, though.
Now, let's see. We haven't talked about this.
Yeah.
This is, so A, we said, brilliant. Wish them all success. B,
on the B side,
why we don't want this to be a success. And I think, are we going to...
I think we both may have the same point here, but it's the the thing of whenever a car becomes available after the 25 years are up or on the lead up to it, values start to go a little bit loopy. Is that what you're thinking?
Well, this is making me think I really should have bought that £15,000 TVR server.
Because a tech billionaire in the US is going to pay $100,000 for that.
And also, yes, exactly. That was my thinking. Generally, numbers of or the value of cars go up as soon as they become opened up to North America. But in this case particularly, I mean, that's happened to Porsches, 911s, blah, blah, blah. But they made a lot of Porsche 911s. So in this situation, it's even worse because there are very small or very few numbers of TVRs total in their entire history relative to the big car manufacturers. So if... and America's a big place. Population 350 million.
Yes, there's a lot of people. 350 million people all hungry for a bit of TVR.
And quite a lot of them with
a
lot of them with a few of those with some cash.
Yeah.
So that's a big mouth to feed from a very small pot of caviar.
Yes.
So I'm never going to end up owning my Cerber, am I? Because they are just going to go... If they're even still here, they're going to be very expensive.
So if you're a TVR owner, you could be in for a fantastic payday in the not too distant future. If you're wanting to buy a TVR, do it now, because those Americans are going to snap them up so quickly.
Thinking.
Should you buy a Cerberus?
Yeah.
You should definitely have a Cerberus. You've got Cerberus written all over you. Do you know what? One thing I was thinking of, though, is that particularly, I think we've spoken about it before, of where the Cigaris was the car that had a lot of work done on it to make it a drivable, usable TVR. Because anything that came before that was known as being a little bit spiky, potentially. Mm-hmm. Potentially, if you weren't, you had to have your wits about you, particularly if it was a greasy day.
But then, you say that, though. The amount of cars I've driven where people go, Ford Capri. Yeah. Everyone, oh, God, you need a bag of cement in the back to make it drivable.
Does that have enough power to do that?
Well, I don't know. I drove it, and I drove a 2.8 Brooklands, and it was easy to...
To be fair, this is the country that has the 1,000 horsepower Dodge Challengers that I'm probably used as taxis.
The Widowmaker, the GT2 996, I believe they call that the Widowmaker. Drove that, absolutely fine, no problem at all. And Lotus Carlton. Oh, God, I remember my next door neighbour when he was a police driving instructor saying that they banned those for the police to use at the time because they were too powerful. I drove it, absolutely sublime, not too far. So I wonder whether some of these snappy TVRs is more about people going, well, you've got to be a real man like me to drive them.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of there's no traction control or ABS. And so
everything that I've just talked about.
Yes, but I'm getting there. Because there's no traction control or ABS, they're probably going to have to slap loads of warning stickers on it, like you see on a lot of American cars. You open the door and it's just like, warning!
The one the one that I can never understand is the Fords. And obviously they do it because they're global cars sold in America. And you turn off the key. And I get the mobile phone thing because, if you've got it in the wireless charging pad that's under the rear or the centre armrest, actually quite easy to forget your mobile phone in the car. The one I don't get is, have you forgotten your children? And it's like, what?
Are you serious? Is this a genuine...
Oh, yeah, no.
What?
No, this is not me joking.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised you haven't driven a Ford that you haven't realised.
You left your children in the back?
So it's because...
So useful. I left my children in the back of loads of cars. Thank God.
It's because there are genuine... oh, God, it does make you worry about this.
It makes you sad, doesn't it?
So there are genuinely people in America and who have got out of their car on a hot day, closed the door, locked it, and then 7 hours later gone, honey... Have you seen the kids?
I think that because this is an old car, they're going to have to obviously retrofit it with some stickers. The thing that concerns me more
it's fine though, because if leave the kids in the back of that one, the windows will just drop down of their own accord when there's a bit of moisture in the air.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of getting out in the first place, because each TVR has a different way of getting in and out of it. So you can imagine there's this problem. You'll see just these Cars and Coffee. of where someone turns up and they just can't get out of their car because they've not figured out how to do it. So the dash is just going to be filled with these stickers that's just been like, exit vehicle here, and there's a button to press to get out. But yes, America, please enjoy the TVRs. We love them, and I'm sure you're going to love them too, but don't love them too much because then they'll get really expensive here. We won't be able to buy them. John.
Yes.
Should we do the second topic?
Oh, yeah, I suppose so.
And it's called Next Car After M135i. It's been posted by GTFC Alex, and they say, I currently have an M135i 2022. I've had it for about 14 months and looking to change. I've had an S3, a Golf R recently, so all quite similar.
Was that a special edition, the Golf R recently?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yeah. Budget of around 40k.
Okay. I got something to work with here.
Their wife has an SUV, so no worries on practicality, and my commute is about 10 miles. Options I've considered so far and my thoughts. M2 competition, Porsche 718 Cayman, Jaguar F-Type V6, or a Toyota GR Supra. Any advice appreciated? John, we've actually, for once, got quite open criteria, which on the one hand makes things easier because we've got a bigger pool of cars to choose from, but it also makes it quite tricky because...
Too much choice.
There's much choice.
A world with too much choice is why I think we should all live in under authoritarian regimes.
You're just letting it all out today on your last episode, aren't you? So that kind of means that we were just able to run with it, really. See what kind of fun cars we could get for 40 grand that would scratch that itch of, just going 10 miles down the road. We've already got a practical car. What's fun?
Well, funny enough, okay, I didn't read the criteria. Sorry, I read the criteria, but I didn't read the list of cars that he had.
Yes.
And what's the first one I've come up with?
You've come up with a GR Supra.
I have, and
so that's totally fine because they were after a GR Supra.
Well, that's what I mean. It's
exactly.
So that's a good shout, right? Because I
mentioned a 996 the other week when someone needed a 996. So yeah.
And it's only 3 years old.
Cool. Yeah.
2022.
Yeah. It's a manual as well.
Yeah, that's why I chose it.
Nice.
Yeah, 39,995.
Yep.
Within budget.
Very much so.
I know.
Yeah.
Finally, you've tamed me.
£5 in budget.
£5 in budget. Fine. You've tamed me. You at 24,000 miles, one owner car. Why are you counting with your fingers?
I'm not counting.
Oh, I thought you were like doing that as if I was kind of made something. I thought
itch my finger.
You've got an itch. You're scratching your itch then as well.
Yep.
You're going to buy a Toyota Supra.
Mine's a little bit more serious than that.
So anyway, that's quite pleasing. So my first offering is actually offering him something that he's suggested.
Yes.
And it's a manual.
Yeah, it's yellow. It's, everyone's going to say, oh, but it's just a Z4 underneath, which, yes, it is. But it's also, the Z4 isn't available as a coupe. Supra is. Z4, actually, they do make a manual version of the Z4 now, don't they? The Handschalter or whatever it's called. But yeah, I mean, what would you really want? A Toyota with Toyota build quality or a Toyota Supra Coupe looks with BMW build quality?
Is that a question you're asking me?
As a question I'm asking, just in its hypothetical. I'd rather the Supra.
Well, ask me if I...
Yeah, go on. What
do I want... I say, would you buy that?
Would you want that, yeah?
No, it's a Z4 underneath. I think you might get cross with me because I picked one of these for another buying section.
Okay.
So it's a 2004 shaped Mercedes SL. I must look up the model number of that because the only model numbers I'm ever interested in is old Mercedes.
Yes.
But
it's the one after the R129.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Pretty one with the lovely dual headlights but merged into one.
Yeah, exactly. Which it's interesting because the
hardtop,
Porsche 911,
the first hardtop SL. One, but very pretty, and about the only hardtop that ever looked really beautiful.
It's the R230.
R230. Okay,
that's the one.
So I did mention one of these the other day, and it was a 65.
It was
wasn't
a 65, so it had the V12.
This one isn't a 65, but look, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because it's quite special, isn't it? So it's a 2004 Mercedes-Benz SL R230 F1 edition.
Oh, because these were the safety cars back in the day.
Yeah, so that's it's done 49,000 miles, so it's not particularly low mileage, but it's not stupid mileage. It's got the 5.4 litre AMG V8, which is the supercharged one out of the 55, 476 horsepower, and it's this F1.
Did you say 576 horsepower?
Oh, sorry, 476 horsepower.
Still a lot.
Still a lot. And in 2003, it was £110,000. It was which is quite, it's a hell of a lot of money for an SL in 2003.
Yeah, you think about that. I think about what that would be with inflation today, and it's lots.
Yeah, and actually, I didn't really know much about this car, but you said it was to promote the F1 safety car, which
I think it was. So it had carbon ceramic brakes.
Yeah. So it had composite brakes.
Yeah.
An extra oil cooler, limited slip differential, increased performance delimiter, and interior and exterior differences with improved aerodynamics. And it's
they're quite under the radar cars because you don't really expect focused Mercedes cars or AMGs from this era because they were still, big slushy GT brutes. But yeah, it's the fun fact.
Oh, fun fact. I'll be the judge of that.
Definitely fun. There was they built a CL55 F1 edition that came before this
because it was the very first Mercedes safety car.
That's
I remember talking to Bernd Mailander about that.
Really, he was telling you all about the CL55 F1 edition.
He said he was talking to me about the very first Mercedes I ever drove as a safety car.
Yeah,
was the CL.
Yeah, well,
and he was like. It was like big, and he said it had the standard seats in it because it was ridiculous. And when you think now what I drive, there I was driving a CL, massill car,
sliding all over
these great pudding seats.
That's the crazy thing because they were so heavy. But when they made the CL55 F1 edition, if I remember correctly, it was the first production car with carbon ceramic brakes. But also, they built some for the UK, which all had the standard seats in them. But the ones that were offered in Europe, you could get them with Recaro pole positions, which is, this is probably a whole another thing we could talk about, is weirdly sporty seats in cars that don't really suit it. Because you think carbon ceramic brakes in a CL55 makes a lot of sense because it weighs several moons. But then...
it's quite fast.
And it's quite fast. But then you put the pole positions in and you're like, that's just such a bizarre seat to have in this massive GT. But anyway, cool car, cool pick.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay. So repetitious, but with a reason.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Repetitious again. I think I might have mentioned Mustang a few times, but I just when the guy was talking about all the things that he was thinking about, I just thought Mustang.
So on last week's episode, we mentioned the Ford Mustang, but it didn't really suit the criteria. I think it suits it a lot more this time.
I mentioned it in passing last time as a possible, but I did discount it myself on the basis the person was into something a little bit more, let's say, discreet.
So this is a 2018 5-litre GT.
And it's in that blue
that
solid blue that I really like. I don't know what that's called, but I really, really like that colour.
Absolutely.
If I didn't buy a Bullet in that beautiful shade of metallic green, I would have this blue colour.
It's a really great car,
that
Mustang. I really love it. How much is it? So it's 11,000 miles.
£34,000. And
£6,000 for fuel.
And also, you see, the way I have decided to look at these things now is every time I come under budget on one car, I can then add that to the budget of the next car.
I don't think that's how it works. But
I think it is. In my head, it is, and
oh God, what have
it's my last episode, so I'm doing it. And that's only done 11,000 miles, so I think that's a brilliant car.
Absolutely.
So that's something I'm definitely recommending. What about a 2012 BMW 3 Series M3?
Oh, this is very me.
So with the V8, everyone loves that V8.
And it's the competition as well.
It's competition. 32,980. So that's now, hang on, the last one I saved 6,000. This one I've saved 7,000. So that's, I can now spend an extra 13,000 on the next one. This is brilliant. So 45,000 miles. I know you're looking like that, and I just don't bother. My maths, it's man maths. This is the way it works.
It is, yeah.
45,000 miles. Why not? Who's going to say that's not a brilliant car?
I think this is quite up their street. I think this is the one that fits the bill the best because they're clearly after something quite sporty.
Maro, you know Maro, don't you?
Maro Callow.
Yes. I think he still has the world's drift record.
He's a he is a cool guy.
Yeah. Proper stunt driver, drifter, all that kind of stuff. Maro had one of these, and I always remember he said, "It's my favourite car I've ever owned." I love this car.
I really, really love the E92 M3 V8.
So
delicious.
That now, an obvious one, Porsche Boxster.
Yeah.
And I was not going to mention it. It's just I saw this one, and it's a 2016. So
it's a 981.
981.
They said 718.
Yeah, well, you see, the thing is, I was really desperately trying to find a 718 because they sound so good, and I really didn't want to be stuck with a crappy six-cylinder one.
Just a flat six.
Yeah, and the thing is, because the other day,
four-cylinder Boxer,
I couldn't find a 718, but you'll just have to take this six-cylinder version instead.
And the spec's a bit off as well because it's black with a red roof. But I think you can just about stomach that, right?
If you had to, and it's got a red clock face and
I'm going to say, jokes aside, this is a magnificent spec.
Beautiful.
I really don't want anybody to think that we genuinely would not take a flat six over a flat four, and B, this is such a good looking car.
This is the thing, and it's so good that I was thinking, I can't bring a Boxster into it because it's too obvious, and I just saw that one, and there's a little thumbnail in the list of classifieds, and I thought, that's beautiful.
That's definitely a Boxster.
And it's $29,999.
It's £10,000.
So it's another 10,000. So that's 23,000. I've now got
you could get a hot hatch
63,000 for the next.
We're now a two-car garage.
31,000 miles, by the way, and 2016. Did I mention 2016?
Yes, you did. But anyway, lovely, good pick.
I also found, and probably the one I would choose, is the 2010 Nissan GTR for 39,925, 59,000 miles. What more can you say?
All sensible choices. I expected something a bit more interesting from you, John, particularly for your last episode. So I've taken up the...
You've shouted at me all the last episodes, and I thought I'm just going to conform. I didn't think that.
You've never thought that at all in your life.
It's true.
So the first car I'm going to kick off with, bearing in mind that we're on a bit of a TVR theme, and we're PistonHeads after all, we're always going to champion TVR, is a T350.
Can't have it. It's 42,495.
It's a smidgen over budget.
You always say no. Too expensive.
It's true. Maybe I should do a 10% rule. I might bring a 10% rule in.
Oh, brilliant. So the day I leave, you bring in a 10% rule.
For your successor, I'm going to bring in a 10% rule. So 29,818 miles. This one is silver. Very sensible colour for a TVR. In fact, actually, I say that. It's quite rare you see the really crazy coloured TVRs. Most of them are in kind of blacks, silvers.
I'd have my Cerber in silver.
I would... Yeah, silver Cerber is quite nice. Yeah, I would go for a more subtle Cerber spec and then something a little more shouty for my Tuscan.
Okay.
This one does, however, have a red interior, but it's had its engine rebuilt, which is
very rare, isn't it? I mean, why would it possibly need that doing? How many? Has it done 1 million miles?
No, as I said, it's just shy of 30,000. It's got a folder of invoices. It's clearly been cherished, and I mean, it's not like they're going to be using it as a motorway mile muncher. They're just going to be having fun in it. If it sounds like there's a TVR shaped hole on your driveway, this is the car. But if you don't want to and you're not feeling brave enough, we have coming up for auction a BMW Z4M Coupe. This one's a slightly higher mileage, 97,906, so it should be well within budget. But you never know with these things because it's an auction. It is in blue. This is Le Mans blue? Estoril blue, I think.
No, Estoril blue is the really liked one.
Yeah, I thought that was Le Mans blue.
Well, if it's not Le Mans blue, it's not 1 million miles from Le Mans blue.
It's a darker blue with a black interior. I say this before looking at it again. It's got, I think this is what they were calling the lemon interior, which is the kind of like slightly creamy...
Magnolia-y.
Yeah, just a hint of yellow in it. Really lovely spec. That is going to be coming up for auction on Wednesday, the 12th of November.
And you know, we did a Guilty Pleasures car. I don't know if that really fits the Guilty Pleasures, because it's kind of car that I kind of want to own, but I probably never quite get round to owning. But it's a kind of car I'm sure if I had it, I'd be absolutely enraptured about?
I really like the look of these, and powered by the 3.2 litre S54 straight six, which is one of the best engines ever.
Such choice.
Oh, it's a lovely engine. And I'll end on another extremely left field choice. I've gone a little bit over budget again, but only by £550. A Noble M12 GTO. Now, this isn't going to feel nearly as lavish as even the TVR. I drove an M12 a couple of years ago, and it was basic interior-wise. I mean, they actually had the same gear shifter as my Fiesta. So yeah, it's a pretty basic interior, but my God, just an incredible car to drive.
Still looks good, doesn't it?
It does look. I mean,
it's got the right
evil.
kind of proportions and squatness to it.
Yeah, this one's black. It's a turbocharged V6. But the thing that really stood out to me is that it doesn't have an anti-roll bar. So it did without anti-roll bars. And so when it's driving along, it's actually, the ride quality is astonishingly good. It's so smooth and just glides over the surface beautifully. Yet feels absolutely razor sharp. It's one of those cars that drives and handles significantly better than you're expecting it to, because you look inside
really
and
good supercars and hypercars do. That's
the
really best ones, whether they've got anti-roll bars or not. Just really well set up cars that you and it's what I've said many times. It's just astonishing how cars that have so little wheel travel can ride that well on British roads, but they do.
It's and I was on a properly rough bit of road with this thing and blown away. Still, it was a few years ago, and I was even saying to you earlier, like sometimes it's really hard to remember cars I've driven, just a few weeks back. This thing will forever stay in my mind, and the sound was just astonishing. There was, a fair bit of lag, but the shove that you get is wild. Admittedly, I don't think my picks fully meet the criteria in the sense that I think he's after something a little more modern, a little more less temperamental. But if you're feeling brave, I think my ones are the ones to go for. And in fact, I'm actually going to put this Noble M12 as my choice. So I'm going to say Noble M12. John, what are you going for?
Well, I did say the GTR, didn't I?
GTR is a good shout.
It is a good shout.
That was the one that seemed the most obvious to me.
Okay. So that's there's 240 X-Drive. I think is probably the most sensible choice of all of them.
But I think if you're looking at M2,
or the Boxster.
Then I don't think the 240 is special enough. I would say, it's either that M3 that you're looking at right now or the GTR.
I'm going to choose the V8 M3.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. I think that's a really good shout. So what I will do, if you're listening to this on Spotify, there'll be a vote where you can choose either my car or John's car. If you see this article on the homepage, you can leave a comment below if you'd like to let us know who did it better. Or if you think we were rubbish, you could let us know there too. I'll also leave a link to the topic in the article as well. So you can just click on that, go and submit your own suggestions, and go and help out GTFC Alex in their hunt for a new car. Before we move on, annual service early bird tickets are available. Just go to pistonheads.com/events/annual-service. I'm going to leave a link to that in the article of this podcast on the PH homepage, so you can click in and go and get your discounted tickets. It'll be held on the 8th of August back at Bicester Motion, and obviously it's like the best car show of the year because we have so much variety and so many freaking cars, and also the car park is one of the best places to go and actually go and check out cars too. So you turn up, go and see what's happening on the site, and then when you're ready to head home, just go and have a wander through the car park and see all the incredible stuff that PHs have brought along. So go and do it. Right, John, your final topic is about to come up, but first I need to plug the Michelin promo, because we have a deal going with Michelin where you can get up to £100 off a new set of Michelin tyres. Just go to pistonheads.com/Michelin, put your car details in, and see how much you could save. It'll be somewhere between some money
and £100.
Yes.
Finally, I got to do
the plug.
I feel like a proper presenter now.
Well, because this is your last episode.
Have you got a present? Is there a cake? Is there a cake? I'd love a cake.
No. Well, I mean, you had
just a present. Then.
You had
just a present
bun earlier. Your present is actually that we're going to dedicate this last topic to you, John. This is going to be a topic of your choice.
Oh, really?
So you can get on your soapbox.
Hang on a minute. That means
anything.
I've got to sort of edit something and kind of be a.
You've got to think of something to say.
No,
well, I thought that what we could do,
good at thinking.
because John has been a writer for PistonHeads for a while now, and I thought that now that you're moving on, maybe you could talk about, what some of your best moments at PistonHeads. What are the memories you'll cherish, and what are the ones where you just want to? I was thinking about we could go through some of the comments on your articles, but that would just seem cruel.
I don't want to sound kind of too wishy-washy and sort of gushing, but there's so many, aren't there?
What about the BMW XM?
Yes, I suppose there is that. I tell you what I am proud of about that is my article on that. I think I think I was quite proud of the fact that I fully got both barrels out and primed them and shot, but I did it in a kind of calm way. I was quite proud of the review I gave it because I don't know, it's quite nice when you get a car that is properly crap, and it's quite refreshing to write something like that. But obviously, the nice things to celebrate. I think one thing I will always think of my time, and the minute I connect my brain and me and PistonHeads together, is the Lamborghini Aventador.
Ultimate,
which I think I've written about. I chose it as my favourite car of whatever year it was, 2023 or something. And it was just the opportunity to have that car. I remember Nick saying to me, we went to Wales to film it. And it was the weekend or the week before the Queen's Golden Jubilee or birth.
Might have been.
I think I've mentioned many times about how I like to be surprised by cars. I think the best thing is you can do. And I had it with the V8, the original V8 Vantage V12 S that I got in. I remember it was an owner's car, and I remember prepping myself to say to this owner as convincingly as I could manage, while kind of telling as many white lies as I could muster, how I thought his car was. Yes, it's not too bad, is it? Not too bad. And I went out and drove this car, came back, and I'm like, I love your car. I absolutely. And I went, the thing is, and I even said to him, I was prepping to say how rubbish it was in the nicest, kindest way possible, but it turns out it's really, really good. And there's nothing like being surprised by a car. And the Aventador, I've driven the Aventador before, and it's kind of it's a huge car, and I think the last one I drove was the SJ, and it's good and it's very fast and everything else. But there was something about, so I picked that Aventador Ultimate, drove it from Slough, where Lamborghini hold their press cars, and I drove it all the way to Wales. Immediately, this is not the car's comfort zone. But again, in that beautiful supercar way, that suspension in that thing is so well sorted. It's a delight. Get to Wales, and I thought Harry and I were going to be filming that car on the top of the mountain around the Brecon Beacons.
That's former PH videographer Harry Rudd.
Former PH, loved working with Harry. He's a great guy. And I remember thinking, this car's just way too big for these roads. It's just ridiculously big, and also it's four-wheel drive. It's not going to be that playful and fun and whatever. Yeah. And I remember the early cars had a bit more understeer in them and things. So I, just nothing about that car. I got into it pretty negatively at the start. It surprised me on the way down actually how good it was on the motorway and comfortable and everything else. But then I thought it's going to be a useless car to drive around. Well, I tell you what, it was just wonderful, and I really just fell in love with it on those roads. I remember Nick saying, you're going to have to take this car down to Wales. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm staying down there. I can't have a £450,000 Lamborghini Aventador in battleship grey, looking as angry as basically a battleship ready to deliver an intercept missile. I can't have that in Sleepy Crickhowell over the whole, because that would mean I would have been there for 2 days filming. Yeah. Then I think it was something like it would have been the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I can't, because I can't. That's my only car. I'll have to go to the shops to buy a pint of milk in a 400. They already think that it's Wales, that Crickhowell. It's a small town, and people already think I'm an idiot or a show off because I turn up in these amazing cars. But that's when I turn up in a, like an X5 or something. This is on another level. And, I ended up in this car. And I remember Nick saying to me, you're the only person that would moan about being given a £450 Lamborghini and having it over the weekend for a bank holiday weekend. I think
you are the only person that would moan about that. Yes.
Yeah, but I had
I'd be like, yes, please.
Yeah, but it's because I didn't want to look like an absolute bellend in the.
You're already there, John. Why worry about it?
It's my kind of. It was trying not to be show offy, and of course you can't do that in a Lamborghini event at all. But the engine, in the end, I had it down there for all that time. The amount of people who said, "Please give me a drive in that car," and just going past. There's a certain section down the A40 where you're going past the Glenusk estate, and they've got this huge stone wall that goes all for miles and miles and miles, like a dry stone wall. And the noise of that V12 bouncing off the reverberating through there, off that stone wall, it was just like I wouldn't say like the 90s Formula One cars, because they, sort of slightly lower revving, but still amazing V12s. And it's intoxicating. And I had the same thing when we went to do the Car of the Year, because it was instantly my choice for Car of the Year. Absolutely no doubt about it. Best car I drove. Or the only £450,000 car I've ever said I'd buy. I've always said stupid amount of money to spend on a car. I know sounds a bit trite, but spend 100,000 on an i11 GT3 and the other 350,000 trying to do some good in the world, because you can still have fun and do some good. But in that one is the first car I thought, if I had £450,000, I wouldn't tell anybody, but I would spend it on one of those. Oh, yeah.
I completely get that. I didn't drive it. I did go in it with you briefly, because I don't think I was insured on it at the time, but I wanted to just hear it.
Too powerful for you.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, absolutely. Well, what I was going to say is that I'd driven the Sian, which had that engine in it, and that was just... that, on the other hand, was a $2 million car, and so that was very much you're driving down the road just sweating because just any stone chip clattering off the bottom of the carbon bits that have been bolted to the side of it, you're just like, oh god, this is just obviously something you don't have to worry about if you have enough money to spend £2 million on a car. But I remember that because I was also in the GT4 RS.
You were.
And I was on Cup 2 Rs, and it was snowing and icy.
It was snowy. It was the worst.
It was the worst weather to do that.
And wasn't the only person that was suitably dressed in car terms. Mike Duff, he had a Range Rover.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Everyone else had these ridiculous cars with snow in the...
Cackett had a he had a GR86. Matt Bird had the CSL, M4 CSL. You had the Aventador, and I had the GT4 RS, which was, I remember going up a mountain and just like feathering the throttle and just anything more, and you just get that like, the revs just go, and it's like, oh god, this is just. And I had a Mark V Golf on my arse the whole time, just like flashing. I was overtake. I'm just trying to survive. But yeah, no, turning up to Porsche that morning to pick it up, and I was like, oh, it's obviously snowing, so what tyres have you put on it? And they're like, no, it's the Michelin's. And I was like, oh god. So yeah, no, that was a good time.
Another thing is, I really enjoyed. One thing I really did enjoy is fronting for a small, short time the PistonHeads channel. YouTube
yes,
channel.
We did. Yeah,
and getting to make some great videos. Again, I loved working with Harry doing those. We kind of, it's quite hard making videos when there's a short, small budget, and we haven't got loads of people to fetch things and do things and bring seats for you.
And you're doing other things as well, like writing stories,
but I enjoyed many of those videos, but I think the one I really was grateful to do is to make my little ode to the E39 M5.
I'm glad you ended on that, because that's I think it feels like John Howell and the E39 M5. Name a more iconic duo.
Have I ever mentioned that I had an E39 M5?
You might. I think you mentioned it really early on,
and
in the last podcast, and in every one since.
But no, that was a really nice thing, and it was, of course, it was absolutely hammering down with rain on that day. But car's so good, you still have fun with it in the rain. It's not terrifying at all.
There's a shot of you going sideways that we use for our intro to videos now. So if you watch a PH video, we have a little opening sting, and you can see John. Well,
to be honest, it was actually no, it wasn't full oppo. It was actually reasonably tame, because the thing is, although like they are so easy to drift, those cars, and to play around with, but the problem is, as I get older, and it just weighs on my mind more that these aren't your cars. And as brilliant as we all think we are at driving, and I actually really don't, I always say there's always a better driver than you. But no matter how much used you are to these things, unless you're doing it on a circuit where you know the corner time and time again, and the grip is similar or the same, every single a corner on a road can change. It can surprise you, because suddenly there could be that phantom bit of oil or whatever it might be, or that surface change that makes it really greasy. And there's always that thought, especially when we're doing it in places like Wales, where there's rocks lining the road and things, that you think. So I know Harry was going, a bit more, and I was like, no, that's the last one, because it's always we'll just do one more. It's always that one. And the thing is, it's bad enough. I always think it's bad enough with new cars, because there's a lot of explaining to do. But if you write off BMWs, and I know Martin from the BMW Heritage Fleet, they spent a long time trying to find that car, and it's a very, very low mileage. I can't remember how many.
It's a lovely example.
It's really nice.
Of the mark.
Yeah, and it's one of the very late ones, very low mileage, really impeccable condition, and it's really if you've done something to that, I think I would not. I would just hold my head in shame forever and wear nothing but sackcloth and ashes and never come out in the sunshine.
But instead, you created a wonderful ode to the M5, and you can go onto the YouTube channel and watch that, because it's still up and it's still brilliant. And anytime you see a new PH video, you'll see John going sideways, even though he won't be with us anymore. He's not dead; he's just leaving. That's it. That's our time on the gassing station. Done. I'm going to miss you, dude. I've really enjoyed these last 16 episodes. I hope everybody else has. I'm sure they have. And I know that everyone's going to be really sad to hear that you're off to pastures new.
Can I say thank you to you? But I'll do that in a second. Do you know one thing I would also like to say is when I first joined, it's quite tough coming into PistonHeads, because
it is.
Whenever you come into anything new and fill a hole, you're the new person, and it's like all eyes are on you. And
particularly when there's an immensely passionate community.
And put it this way, that there's no hiding away if you don't like what you're doing. And I do remember being the new boy. It's like, who is this bloke? Who is this bloke? And then, but what's lovely about the people from PistonHeads, you have to go through that period of like, I don't know, doubt or whatever, because I don't know who I am. I don't know. Even I don't know who I am anymore. And then eventually somebody will go, really like that.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed reading that.
Best thing.
And then suddenly you just sort of reading these, and it felt. And I remember when I hadn't been writing for PistonHeads for a while, and I came back and wrote something about the Cyberster, and people were so nice. They said such lovely things, and it made me really think you are part of a little family with PistonHeads, and it is a proper family, because even though you war and you argue and you slate each other from time to time and annoy one another, there is that sort of collective harmony and joyousness about it. And working with the guys is amazing, and working with you, Cam, is brilliant. And I feel like this could be my Jason Dorr moment. I really feel like I'm going to walk away, because whether it goes on to great success or not, I just really love doing this with you.
It's been a lot of fun.
And I love doing it with you particularly, because you are great fun to work with. But
thank you.
I on one hand, I'm really hoping this isn't my Jason Dorr moment, and that this podcast doesn't become an amazing success, and I've just walked away from it and
If it does, it's because you've helped get it off.
And I'm in the Jason Dorr Top Gear,
That's it. Yeah.
And then whoever comes in is the James May and steals all the thing. But I really do hope at the same time it is the Jason Dorr moment, and that you go on to do some great things.
Oh, well, thank you, Joe. Very, very kind words. If you'd like to see who our new James May is, I'm not going to tell you, but what I will say is go onto the PistonHeads YouTube channel and type in Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio GTA M and watch the video. That's our new co-host. I can't wait to have him on. But it does mean that, unfortunately, we've got to say goodbye to John. John, thanks very much for co-hosting the gassing station with me. Thank you all for listening. Do me a favour, give a 5-star review for John at least. And I can't say the outro line because I'm not going to see you at that time. So do you want to say it? No. See you next Tuesday.